You can't outgrow the pain that you haven't healed. And it's not a matter of time. It's not a matter of getting older. And it's not a matter of being in a different setting or away from the things that have caused you pain. It is about being intentional about addressing the areas in your life that have stunted your growth, that have caused any type of hindrance within your spirit, facing it head on, and then making a better and wiser decision. But if you notice that quite a few people in their adulthood begin to show traits, or as we would say now, your inner child, right, is revealing something. And sometimes that something is a deficiency that you might have experienced when you were younger. And as you get older, there are always two options. One is to address it and to face it and to be intentional about asking those questions that cause you to behave and feel and respond to life the way you do, or to completely avoid it. And we know what happens when you avoid something. It usually just spills over into other areas of your life. But we want to be on the side of our life where we're not avoiding it, that we're facing the places and the spaces and the shadows within us that have not been healed. Because when you do not face it, it's not simply just outgrowing it. Like, I got older, that doesn't matter anymore. Now, there are a lot of people in their old age that need a good cry just to reconcile and make peace with what they've experienced in life. And again, when I make these videos and I send these messages, this is not in any way, shape, or form to dismiss the severity of healing that some people have had to experience, or the level of trauma that they've had to go through in order to be who they are today. So sometimes all someone knows is survival mode. Sometimes all someone knows is how to avoid the heavy stuff. But we don't want to be in a space where we're avoiding heavy stuff. We don't want to be in a space where we're avoiding any heavy lifting. We want to genuinely ask ourselves about the experiences in our life that has caused us to show up as the person we are today. So you're not going to outgrow anything that you're not willing to face, anything that you're not willing to heal and make space for. And this is not a one-time fix. This is usually a gradual process. Sometimes it's with therapy and counseling. Sometimes it's through prayer and meditation and fasting and praying. Sometimes it's with a trusted friend. Sometimes it's your isolation. Sometimes it's confronting family members and people that may have impacted your life in one way or another. Whatever strategy or method that you use is completely up to you. And it's going to be to your discretion and to your comfort and ability. However, it should not be dismissed. It's not a step that we're willing to skip. Not this year, not this time around. Because it really makes space and creates room for the pouring in of those things that truly edify, uplift, and support us. You can't outgrow anything that you're not willing to face. You're not going to be able to heal those areas if you stay in a space of avoidance. There have been moments where I've avoided certain areas that I had to face. Of course, I've met people that have done the same thing. And you begin to see those things come to fruition in ways that you just couldn't imagine. Which is why I always try to give grace to people when I notice that they're showing up as a certain way, right? Whether they're hostile or easily triggered or easily frustrated, whatever it is, I try to give some grace and some compassion behind it, because I know that there's a story to that. There's something connected to that. But we don't simply want to be connected to our story, nor do we want to live a life where we're constantly saying, this is who I am, this is how I was raised, these are the things that have happened to me, that's why I do this. We want to ask those questions, we want to face that, and then show up a different way. I believe that you get more with honey than you do with vinegar. And I'm not talking about walking around smiling and being nice and dainty every day. That's not what I'm saying. That's not the disposition. But there's a power in knowing who you are. There's a power in clarity. There's a power in discernment. There's a power in sharpening your emotional ability. And I just want to encourage you to not avoid the places that require healing, to not avoid the places that require some softness and some solitude and some reflection. for a greater day, for a bigger purpose. You are here for a divine purpose and for a divine reason. And yes, we do go through things, but I believe that those things are meant to fortify us and teach us and bless us. And I know that what I've gone through is what I can help others go through or others heal from. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to what triggers you. Pay attention to what brings you joy. Pay attention to what gives you pause, and then make sense of that. You can't outgrow anything that you're not willing to heal. We got to do the healing work. Again, if you've paid attention or listened to my other videos, you notice that I've really started my first series of videos with just decluttering the mind. And now we're just deep diving into healing. Healing, genuine, soft healing. Not blaming anyone, not thinking anyone else is a problem, willing to do the work, willing to forgive, willing to pause, willing to learn, willing to breathe, and willing to experience the life that we can't experience, willing to make space for the things that will take us to our greatest and best destination. I want to live a fulfilling life, right? I'm determined to do that. Are you determined to do that? I hope you are. I would hope you are. And sometimes that does require us to do the heavy lifting and the difficult work and the hard conversations and to face the music about our life and who we are in this moment today. And how can we be better? And how can we tell ourselves the truth and live from a place of peace, reflection, and understanding? That we don't make anything or anyone else the problem, but we just genuinely look at ourselves, look at our paths, and just show up differently. Just differently. Not better, not good or bad, just differently. What works for us, the truth that we tell ourselves, the peace that we can reside in. I would love that for myself, and I would definitely love that for you. So yes, let's heal the areas. Let's outgrow the stuff and the gunk and the things that limit us. Let's offer a broader and wider perspective in being a better person and living ultimately a better life. I thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you for clicking on the video and taking time to listen. And I hope you're willing to do the inner work. It's not always pretty. It's not always easy, but it's oftentimes necessary. So you can't outgrow anything you're not willing to heal. Heal it first, then you can move forward in other areas. Heal it first, then enter that relationship that you want to enter. Heal it first, then pursue specific passions that would bring you joy and peace and happiness. There's steps to this, and we've been taught to skip steps, but not anymore. I look forward to you tuning into my next video. If you need any resources, check the description below. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Until next time.